Hey, what's happening, World Wrestling Live? It's our 1 o'clock hour, and we have a lady badass on here, Skylar Hattendorf. Not only a world wrestling team member, she's a world judo team member too. She was our world team trial champion 2019. She got silver at Cadet Worlds. She's also on the 2019 World Judo team. And there's about 400 other things I could have wrote down that she's won and kicked ass at, but I kept it short and simple, some of the big ones. But uh, this is the future of women's wrestling, and she's here with us. Skylar Hattendorf, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to have you on. It's great to meet you. Any chance I get to meet young wrestlers and kids and young ladies, young men doing big things, it's awesome. And especially to see the young ladies coming up through the sport, man. There's a lot of you, and they're tough and they're doing big things, and they're making their name known, and that's good.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk. But first of all, obviously uh, with the COVID summer and everything, um, I'm sure you've had some private places where you can get some skills and some training done. But how has it affected that traditional off season that you would normally have?
Um, so during so New Hampshire is a lot more open than most of the other states. And I have been going to wrestling practice for the past couple months, and I've been weight training. But during like the heart of COVID, like maybe like March, April, and May, it impacted me a lot. I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't wrestling, which was really hard for me. But once I started getting back into it, like it was so great. I was so happy to be back. Um, it was awesome.
Yeah, I imagine, because I'm excuse me, I'm reading all this stuff about you, and I'm like, there's no way she was able to stay still through this, because you're always going,
Yeah,
you're always training, whether you're on a wrestling mat or a judo mat or
yeah. It was very, very weird to just not do anything all day and then, not go to practice that night. It was really weird because, like you said, I'm constantly going. I'm either at wrestling practice or I'm at judo practice or I'm at weightlifting, and I wasn't doing any of that. It was really weird, but I'm back doing it again. And that's what's most important.
a lot of kids, I ask them, even a lot of young adults and adults, I'm like, man, do we take this sport for granted anymore? Like, this has really
Yeah.
made all the kids and everyone, they're like, wow, I really missed the mat a lot.
Yeah, I did miss it. I missed it a ton.
So you're back on it. You're back training. I believe what's next is the who's number one versus Kylie Welker, your teammate, and we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about your high school, Bow High School. Uh,
Yep.
you guys are killing it there and doing really well. What have those coaches and that program kind of meant to you, and how do they still help you and mentor you through each step of not only your high school career, but your world career too?
So my head coach was Brock Hoffman. And me and him have a really close relationship. He helped me through a really hard time when my dad passed about 8-9 months ago. And we had a really we worked really well together while I was still at Bow High School, because right now I'm homeschooled because I travel so much. But we just had a really good relationship, and he was just such an amazing coach to me while I was at Bow. It was a really awesome relationship that we had.
That's awesome. And first of all,
Yeah,
my condolences about your father.
thank you.
I did not know that, so my condolences to you. And no kid should have to go through that. So
Thank
um,
you.
uh, I'm sure being a wrestler has helped you get through that unfortunate time. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, our coaches are like extensions of our parents, right? There are our idols, our rocks. That's who we lean on.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's good to have people like that around you.
And my teammates were amazing. I love them to death. They're like they're like the brothers that I never had because I'm an only child. You know, they were like big brothers to me, and I really appreciate them for that.
And you went, you wrestled the season last year, right? With Bo?
No, so I
You're
wrestled my
fourth?
freshman year.
Okay. So when you
Um,
got fourth at New Hampshire States, that was your freshman year.
yes,
Okay. So last
uh,
year you do high school, you did the world.
yes. So last year I did the world circuit, I guess. I didn't do high school wrestling because it would just impact with the season because the season started in like December, and you know I was going away for like a week and a half at a time. I was in Sweden for like 2 weeks, and with my dad passing, I didn't want to do it. It wasn't the right time to do it, and um, so I did not wrestle my sophomore year in high school, but I did wrestle my freshman year.
That's cool. Yeah, you just went to like Sweden and Bulgaria and Kazakhstan. I mean, geez, that's pretty cool. But you're a really good representation for girls wrestling. I know a lot of young ladies like yourself who are going to be represented at who's number one are coming up through the middle school ranks and the high school ranks. And what you're out there on the world stage, you're out there at these big tournaments. First of all, when did you start wrestling?
I started wrestling in 5th grade. So when I was about like 10 or 11. And I actually started wrestling to help my judo, to help my groundwork in judo. And at first, I honestly didn't really like wrestling. I was like, "Oh, Dad, you're gonna make me do this? Like seriously?" But you know, I grew to love it, and now it's my first sport, and it's my passion.
And that's great. And being a girl in that sport, coming from fifth grade to now, what difference have you seen in these tournaments that you travel to, not just in our country, but around the world?
Um, well, skill level. I've noticed that like on the East Coast, girls wrestling isn't really big. In New Hampshire alone, there's maybe 6 girls that wrestle. And you know, traveling all over the country, I realized that like women's wrestling is a lot bigger than I thought it was when I first started. And especially wrestling all over the country, it's more women's wrestling is more. I mean, it's respected in New England, but it's like it's more known in the rest of the U.S. and all over the world, and I think that's just so cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen, you go to a tournament, maybe there's 70 girls, and now there's 300, right? Or
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
And it was just really cool. Like growing up, like I would go to a boys tournament and I would be the only girl there, and then you know traveling to like nationals, it would just be girls, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I'm not the only girl that wrestles. This is awesome.
yeah, and have you had to? I'm sure you've had to go back and forth between folk style and freestyle, or
Yeah.
because you're not in high school now, it's strictly freestyle.
Um, well, my freshman year and my 8th grade year, I was having to go back and forth between folk style and freestyle. So like in the winter it'd be folk style, but summer, spring it would be freestyle. But now since I don't wrestle in high school anymore, it's just freestyle.
Well, talk about how you're able to stay always ready. I mean, not only that, always ready, and your schedule. How are you able to? Do you have any personal time? Like, how do you get like a few minutes to yourself, or even focus on your virtual school when your training schedule is just so stringent?
Yeah, I do. I'm very organized, and I'm very specific with my time. Like I carve out time throughout the day for myself and for school. So like in the morning I go to weightlifting, and then I come home, I do my schoolwork, and then I have a few hours to myself, and then I go to practice. And then I make sure that I have one day throughout the week where I don't have any practices, just so that I can have myself, just so I don't go insane.
Yeah, sure, I get it.
um, but yeah, no, I've found a good system that works for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you know, by the time you get older, it'll be great because you've learned how to time block and you've learned how to put your time in right places, and
Yeah, exactly.
that's great. So, what do you see for the future of girls wrestling? I know that as we talked about, there's a lot of girls coming up. Um, you spoke about seeing the tournaments grow. Uh, what's next? I heard that 2024 they're going to add beach Greco, ladies beach Greco to the Olympics. So
Oh, that's awesome.
that's especially for a judo girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I definitely think that women's wrestling is going to keep growing and grow very fast, which I'm so excited for. I think that in the next few years or so, that women's wrestling is going to be, a D1 NCAA sport. There's going to be like women's programs in those Ivy League colleges and those bigger colleges that have men's wrestling. I definitely think I think that they're gonna put in a women's Greco division.
Why? Look at that smile on your face too. That makes a judo girl happy. A little throw-in, right?
Yeah. I definitely just think it's gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm so excited for that.
That's awesome. You've gotten obviously wrestling has been your rock and has gotten you to where you are now. But one really cool thing is, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 16. I just turned 16 a few days ago.
And oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
When was your birthday?
September 10th.
Oh, my little one turned 12 on September 12th, and my big one turned 16 on September 16th.
Oh, so today.
No, I'm sorry, September 12th. I'm sorry, September
Okay.
6th and September 12th was their birthdays.
Oh, okay.
Lost me.
Happy
September
birthday
6th
to them.
12th, and then this weekend is my wife's birthday. So all three of them in September.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm surrounded by, what is it, Virgos?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy. But that's cool. But I mean, so you've had an opportunity to travel the world, right? I mean, wrestling has given you a pretty cool platform. And
Yeah.
what are some of the places that you've gotten to visit?
So I started traveling internationally when I was 8, and my first international tournament was to France for judo.
Oh, wow.
And that was a really cool experience. I've been to Russia, I've been to Kazakhstan, Germany, England. I go to Canada a lot. Not for wrestling, for judo. I go to Canada a lot for judo. Bulgaria, Sweden.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so 16 years old in a sport like wrestling and judo, and it's already taken you all across the world.
I know, it's so amazing.
Not too many
I'm
kids,
so
not too
grateful.
many like people. Some people live their entire life and don't get to see anywhere else but their home. So, man, that's so. What has been your favorite place to travel in the world? What has been your favorite world tournament?
My favorite world tournament was Worlds. It was just a really cool experience. It was my first international wrestling tournament, and it was Worlds. It was just really great atmosphere. I loved my teammates, my coaches. It was just such a cool experience. And my favorite place has to be Germany. I love Germany.
Good time, good food.
Yes.
You can't drink their beer yet, so
No.
so no German beer yet for you. Even though probably in Germany they wouldn't care, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, starting out with judo, and then as you mentioned, you initially were going to wrestle to help your judo, but it turns out it's worked the other way, right?
Yeah, exactly. My judo has really, really, really helped my wrestling. With like, I'm a very upper body wrestler. Like, I like to wrestle upper body, and I like to get underhooks and all that. And throwing is very, very prominent in my wrestling.
Yeah, I could imagine. Hip tosses, head and
Yep.
arm throws, suplexes. Uh, you know, how how has obviously judo's been effective. What would you tell what would you tell little girls and little boys out there that are getting into wrestling? Would you advise them to do another martial art like judo to help their wrestling? Or
Yes, if they were to do another martial art, I would tell them to do judo. But I would also advise them to, work on their shots too, like their double legs and all that, because I really relied on my judo when I first started wrestling, and I never really learned, how to do a proper double leg or how to do, a proper single leg, and it was really hard to break out of that, out of just doing judo in my wrestling, and going for those shots and not being scared to fail in those shots. So I would advise them to do judo if they were going to do martial art, learn those throws, learn how to use them, but also keep in mind to work on, your leg attacks too, so that you can have a full rounded wrestling like game.
yeah, whatever. You've stayed with judo as well. So you've stayed with judo, you've stayed with wrestling. You didn't just totally give it up. You've continued to compete. You've competed
Yeah.
on both world stages. Are you going to continue to try to do that? Is one of your goals? I mean, is it possible to make like the Olympic judo team and the Olympic wrestling team at the same time? Has that ever been done?
I don't think so. But I am taking a step away from judo. I mean, I'm still doing it. I'm still practicing it. I'm still going to get my black belt because I'm a brown belt right now. I'm still
Nice.
going to get my black belt. But I am not going to compete at a high level anymore. I'm still training. It's just, it's too much with competing at a high level with wrestling too. And at some point I knew that I was going to have to give one up,
Sure.
to do the other at a high level. So, and I love wrestling. I'm obsessed with it. It's my favorite thing in the world. And I knew a few years ago that I wanted to do wrestling as my full time.
Well, and you're pretty damn good at it. So you've got the Who's Number One coming up. You've been invited to wrestle against one of your world teammates and Kylie Welker. First of all, are you guys friends?
We are best friends, actually.
Oh, so did you guys volunteer for this, or did they call you both because you guys are ranked 1 and 2? Or
They called us both. So some people were petitioning for her to wrestle Cheyenne Bowman, and then Flo contacted Kylie, and then they contacted me, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to wrestle in Who's Number One?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
hell yeah!
And they're like, "Okay, so you'll be wrestling Kylie Welker," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
And then you called her, right? You called her like, "Hey, girl."
Yeah. Well, she texted me earlier that day, and she was like, "Hey, like, did you hear?" And I was like, "Did I hear what? Like, is everything okay? Like what's wrong?" And she was like, "Oh, you'll find out later." And I was like, "Okay." And then they contacted me and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna wrestle Kylie." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is what she was trying to tell me."
Oh, damn. If I'd have known that you were that close, we should have told her to come on too. How cool would that have been? Both of you on here at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
That'd have been awesome. So I can't get you to talk shit against her. I can't get you to talk bad about her. I can't get you to fire some bombs like, "Hey, I'm gonna beat her butt." No, there's
No.
no, I would never do that anyway. But is this your first Who's Number One?
Yes. I think this is the second time that they've had women at Who's Number One. I think last year was the first time, and they had Kennedy Blades and Macy Kilty.
Nice. So now you and your girl Kylie gonna go at it. Do you guys? I'm guessing you guys drill together. I'm guessing you're drill partners. I'm guessing you work together.
Yeah.
And obviously you're close in weight. You got the silver medal. She got the bronze medal on the same world stage. So obviously that's going to be a pretty cool matchup.
I'm so excited.
Have you guys gone at it in a competitive environment before, other than
No.
drilling in the room, like on TV for something like this?
No, we haven't. we've never wrestled on in a tournament before.
Oh, nice. So that'll be fun. You guys practicing together?
Yeah.
That would be something, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. So what's it? It's in like 2 or 3 weeks, right? It's the same weekend as the grappler. So awesome. Well, are you looking forward to it?
I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that Flo contacted me for this opportunity. I'm so unbelievably excited for this. Not only to wrestle, because I haven't really been to a lot of wrestling tournaments and been in like matches, but just to get women's wrestling out there, and because there are going to be a lot of people watching this, and I'm just really excited to like show people that women's wrestling is actually like a real thing.
And it's your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, how cool is that? Are you guys gonna like, hey, look, let's make this thing go on a little bit. Let's showcase, let's do some backflips and some throws. And I won't pin you, you don't pin me. We'll kind of drag this on. I can't imagine you guys are at your level because you're competitive. So I'm sure once you enter that ring, all bets are off.
No, totally. We're both super competitive, and whatever happens on the mat stays on the mat. You know, we'll still be best friends after. You know, this should not impact our friendship, and I don't think it will. Again, like what happens on the mat stays on the mat.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna be her best friend no matter what happens.
Well, and I'm sure you've gone just as hard in practice with her than you're going to go.
Yeah.
In public, so people do it. So, what's the future for Skylar? What are your goals to continue on the World Avenue?
Yes.
Do you want to do the college thing? I think I read where there are some schools that are on your list. Have you looked at? I mean, you're just a sophomore or junior now.
I'm a junior.
Okay, so yeah, it's coming up. Is college definitely going to happen for you, or are you going to go straight to the training center and bypass that?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. So my main goal is the Olympics. I want to get that gold at the Olympics. And you know, if I get the opportunity to go train at the OTC, and you know, get there early, and you know, I will do that and push college off. I definitely do want to go to college. But if I do have the opportunity to go live at the OTC and train there and get ready for the Olympics at an early age, right after high school, I will. But if that doesn't happen, then I will go to college. I will wrestle in college, and then after that, I will pursue my Olympic dreams.
Cool. Yeah, because you can always come back and do your college if you get that opportunity.
Yeah, that was my thought process. Like, you know, I can always get, you know, my education, and I can always go to college, but you know, I have a time limit for my athletic career, and I have a time limit for my Olympic career.
Sure, for sure. So with that being said, what's the immediate future? Obviously we have who's number one, and then if tournaments continue to happen, what's what's next for you after who's number one?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm playing it day by day, but if there are world championships next year, definitely that. Definitely the gold medal this time instead of the silver. You know, I'm just playing it day by day because I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Who is your excuse me, who's your favorite wrestler?
Probably Helen Morales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. She is a badass, huh?
Yeah. She's one of the nicest people that I've met too. She's
I watched
such a great role model.
Her flow thing, and it was pretty cool to watch. So
yeah.
But it seems like all the ladies at her level are doing big things, and it's pretty cool to see. Man, this has been awesome. I'm so happy you came on. I can't wait to talk to your best friend. I think it's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow.
I don't know actually.
I think she's coming on tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, same time, 1:00.
That's awesome.
So we'll have her on tomorrow. Just let me know. You can hit me up if you want to come on. I can send you the link.
Okay, perfect.
We'll have you on together. I'm sure she wouldn't care. But that's cool. So let's do the 10 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Funk roll or leg lace?
Leg lace.
Water slides or roller coasters?
Roller coasters.
Waist roll or chest lock?
Chest lock.
Peanut butter cups or Kit Kat?
Kit Kats.
Do you eat them like wafer by wafer, or do you just bite the whole thing?
Wafer by wafer.
Me too. Even at 44.
I take up all the chocolate and then I eat the wafers.
I never change it. I do the same thing with Twixes. Even
Yeah.
my kids are like, Dad, you're 44 years old. I'm like, that's how I eat my.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Head and arm or suplex?
Suplex.
Chicken wings or chicken strips?
Chicken wings.
Single leg or double leg?
Single.
White potato, sweet potato?
Sweet potatoes.
Ooh, sweet potato fries or just the baked ones?
Ooh. I do like sweet potato fries.
They are good. I like the sweet and savory.
Yeah, me too.
High C or foot sweep?
Foot sweep.
Grilled cheese or grilled PB&J?
Grilled cheese. I've never had a grilled PB&J.
Well, you better go downstairs, girl, and make it. Because I never had one either till somebody on this show told me I need to try it. And I went downstairs and tried it. And yeah, it's really good.
I will definitely try that after Who's Number One because I have been eating very, very clean to get down to my weight.
Oh, good. Yeah. Afterwards, it'll be a good treat for you.
Exactly.
It'll be fun. But I do like a grilled cheese too. Well, this has been awesome. I mean, just keep kicking life's ass and keep doing big things. And I can't wait to see your name up in lights. I can't wait to follow you and your best friend through the worlds and through everything. And, keep putting the ladies on the map.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much for having me on again.
Yeah, thank you so much. And please, share my link with any of your friends if they want to come on. They're all welcome.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.